So you like to create and you're a creative and you're wondering, how am I going to survive and make money when I want to play and do art and music and produce? Well, this next guest is going to tell you how. Welcome back to the Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Today, I have a special guest, and I sometimes forget her last name because I just call her Kora the Explorer because she explores everything. She's good at everything. So let me tell you about Kora. She is a multi-hyphenated creative force. She's an independent artist. She's an award-winning videographer. And she's an entrepreneur whose work moves at the intersection of music, media, and culture. So, as the co-founder of Accolades LA Recording Studio and Knox, well, I like that, like Knock 'em Out Media production company, she's cultivated a reputation for elevating stories that resonate, especially with the Black community. She has a list of people she has supported, list of companies, BET, Ebony, Essence, the NAACP, Revolt, and she's toured as a videographer with T Grizzly and performed at legendary venues like the Fillmore, Howard Theater, and SOBs. I get to work with her often with the Africa Channel, where she manages and is responsible for social media for the Africa Channel. So, I mean, how does she do all of these things? Let's find out right now. So welcome, Kora.
Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me. That was great.
Thank you.
I love how you said it. I need her to come intro me everywhere I go.
I can do that.
Period.
I could do that for a small fee.
I'm so happy to be here, though. Like, this is really nice.
Thank you. This is my studio.
I know that's right. Talk about it.
But you can also have the studio. But you have your own studio, right?
I do. But it's more of a music studio that can transform into a podcast studio. But yeah, it's called Accolades LA.
Okay.
And it's based in North Hollywood, where most studios are. Mm-hmm. And it's been open for about a year and a half, going on 2 years now. Okay. We just launched our website. We have merch, Accolades LA merches, like hats, sweaters, stickers, anything you can think of is on there. And we've worked with a lot of great artists so far, both independent and major. We've had a lot of writers' camps. And we do shoot a lot of podcasts there. And we have something called Accolades Spotlight, where we spotlight creatives like myself, whether they're musicians or videographers or just creatives, any creatives that are Black, and we tell their story for us, by us. And so that's kind of like the basis of where we start with everything. And then everything else is pretty much a pivot from there to survive when you go through the ebbs and flows of the creative life in LA.
Wow. Well, you know, when I first thought about doing a podcast, and I'm just going to keep it real, I came to you. And I know. And I'm sitting here thinking, wow, I'm doing a different podcast with a different person. But
this is perfect.
But the point is, as a creative, there's just so many like ebbs and flows and changes.
Oh my God, yes.
So I work with a lot of people, and especially in human resources. And people just take things so personal.
Yeah.
And I just was sitting here thinking, like, I'm so grateful you didn't take that personal, that I didn't do the podcast with you, but
absolutely
do other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, people could be really having bad feelings about stuff like that.
Yeah, ultimately, I want you to win. I want, especially Black women, like that has an idea. And if you're coming to me for help or consultation or advice, if I've impacted you in any way, I'm cool with that, because there's so many people that are better than me or might be a better fit for you. So why would I ever get mad? But I feel like when I was younger, I used to take things way personally, like more so on the music side. Like I get a lot of no's before I get yeses there. So, I mean, but you're sensitive about your art. That's different. When it comes to other people coming to you about their art, it's their art. So you want to make sure they have the best platform or resources for their art. And so you could just be a stepping a stool or a season
Right.
or a blip, or you could be the whole thing. So yeah, but that is true. That is true. I had to learn how to not take things personally.
Thank you so much. And you actually inspired me to
Yay.
keep going.
Yay.
You know, life happens and things happen. So, speaking of life, tell me about your life. You wear so many creative
Yeah.
hats. You're an artist, a videographer, an entrepreneur. How did you get started on this? And a singer.
Yeah.
Did you start as a singer? Tell me about that.
Definitely. And then I found out ain't no money in singing, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, what should I do now? Let's pivot to songwriting. And then I was like, well, you don't get paid for songwriting until you're getting Billboard charting records. And I was like, okay, where else can I pivot? How else can I tell stories? And I said, okay, videography. But I really started videography to shoot my own visuals because it's really expensive to create content. And when people started seeing what I was doing, they were like, oh, well, can you do the same thing you did for yourself for me? And I was like, all right, cool. And the first person who asked me to do that was Lucky Day when I came out here, like 2 years in. And I was like petrified because I was like, okay, I'm working with a celebrity. I have no clue what I'm doing. And when I look back at it, it's really not that good, but they gave me a shot. They paid me, and I just felt like that was a way to sustain myself out here. And then I do get a couple of songwriting checks here and there.
Yes. Wait a minute. Let's stop and talk.
Yeah,
Celebrate
because
that.
we have to big up Ava Hall.
Ava Hall.
Yes, I love Ava.
I do too.
She's like my second mom. Her daughter is my best friend, and we grew up together. And she was my stylist, and she introduced me to the BET International side of things when she was the VP over there, and she was working on a documentary for BET, and she needed someone to score it. So me and my partner David Knox, we scored the whole thing, and that was my first time getting paid a substantial amount of money for music.
That is amazing.
And I thought that
What's
was
the name of the
fire.
documentary? Can we still watch it?
Oh, my
I'd love to
God.
watch it. No
Oh
pressure.
my God.
You could tell us
Oh,
later.
you know, I have to look it up because I can't remember
It's
because it was
okay.
back in 2016.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it was. Oh my God, it was
It's
so
all
good. The song was called Volcano, though.
Volcano.
Yeah.
I feel like
yeah.
you showed it to me once.
Yeah, I probably did.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how many songs have you written?
Oh, wow.
100, 1,000?
I've probably written close to 500 songs.
Ooh.
But not full songs.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, if it was like full songs like that are actually good, probably 100 that are actually good I can sell or put out. But, you know, sometimes you're just shooting in the dark. Sometimes you're just creating. And I like to just be in like a flow state. I don't like to force it. And if I'm forcing it, then it's probably not it most of the times. And sometimes the songs I don't even like, other people like. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you can have that song.
That was just something I was singing in the bathroom.
Yep. But songwriting, those checks come few and far in between. And unless it's like a sync licensing situation, it really wasn't sustainable if I couldn't start working with bigger artists. I work with artists like Wale and Fabulous, but these songs that I've done with them have like stayed on their hard drives. So they're not out. So it's not like I've gotten any exposure or notoriety from it.
Okay. They're staying on their hard drive. I thought staying on their hard drive was a good thing.
Well, no, it's good. But sometimes I think some of these artists like keep these songs for when you do get to a certain point and be like, oh, I've been knew about this person. I'm not saying that's what they did, but you know, it just depends on timing. Yeah. Because everything as far as the music industry is like catching lightning in a bottle. So everything has to line up and align perfectly for it to make sense. So I started learning how to serve and create value in different ways when I knew singing wasn't going to be able to pay my bills all the time. And I didn't want to be broke and be on the side of the road out here in LA. So,
well, I would have picked you up if you was on
you.
the side of the road.
Because you love me.
Yeah, and you're so cute. You're just so cute. I wouldn't be. I'm like, oh, she's so cute. Let me pick her up off the street.
I love that.
So risk taking. That's one reason I draw to you. And we're both Tauruses.
Yes.
Taurians or whatever.
Yes.
And but what is it like just being out here trying to, you moved from Maryland.
Mm-mm.
And how long have you been here?
I moved here in 2020, so I've been here for 5 years, going on 6.
5 years.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time.
But I feel like I haven't really even caught my stride yet, but I feel like I am maybe I'm just numb to the process of the ups and downs of what goes on. So it's like I used to worry a lot when I was in my down, and then now I really don't. But I feel like that's more of a spiritual thing that you got to do.
I feel like if you're in a state of worry, you can't attract the things that you want in your life.
Yeah.
So you have to it's almost like I've got to a point, I've been in business 3 years, and I go to bed at night sometimes, I'm like, I am clearly delusional.
You have to be delulu.
Like, I am just
you have to.
Delulu, that's it.
Yes, delulu.
That's the other thing.
That's what we young people call
it.
Delulu.
I am delulu.
Yeah.
Okay, delulu.
Delulu.
I am clearly delulu. Because I'm like, oh yeah, I got millions of dollars in the bank, and my bank account don't actually say that, but in my head it's like, oh yeah, it's coming, it's gonna be there.
Yeah, because you've been doing that class you was telling me about
brave thinking,
manifestation, and law of attraction.
I got shout out to Mary Morrissey.
Yeah,
I do that class, and if you look at Instagram, YouTube, or anything long enough, you will see Mary Morrissey pop up. Yeah. Do you want to attract what's in your life? Well, it's really true. And I'm not trying to, sell Mary Morrissey, but I think anyone who's a creative, you really have to stay grounded every day.
Yes.
And be delulu.
Yes.
And know it's coming because God has placed this in me and it's coming. It is going to happen.
Yes. And sometimes you just have to surrender it to God.
Yeah. And sometimes I wrestle with, I'm like, okay, God, you want to see me out on the street and somebody have to pick me up, then I think you need to hurry up and bless me because that's what I'm about to do. But every time I do that, a check comes in the mail.
Always.
Somebody calling me while I'm on the highway like, oh, I got a job for you.
Yep.
And every time.
Yep. That's literally what happens to me too all the time. God is so good. Yeah. God is good.
All the time.
All the time, God is good.
All the time.
Yeah.
All right. Woo, we just had, I got hot. I was about to jump up out my seat.
It is a little warm, but it's a nice warm. It's cozy.
It's good warm.
Yeah.
Yes. I love the accents.
I love it.
I remember I worked somewhere. They were like, do you do accents? And this was before.
You're good at them.
Not really.
No?
I don't think so. I probably
You just
could.
said you do accents.
No, the woman at my job, she was like,
okay.
do you do accents? I was like, I ain't got no time for accents. Shut up.
That's that Taurus energy right there.
I was like, that's too fun. You know? But now I have fun and I can do some accents.
I know. Very pompous.
I could try.
I love it.
But before I was like, I ain't doing no accents. I ain't got time for that. Okay.
So, got time for that.
Hey. How would you describe the mission behind your work in 3 words? And why those words?
The mission behind my work in 3 words. Impactful, raw, and transformative.
Oh, I love it. I want to stick with raw.
Yeah.
Why do you say raw? Well, you raw.
Yeah, because that's the beginning of me. I'm sometimes raw to a fault. As I got older, I've learned how to articulate my rawness in a more digestible way. But the core of Kora is just super raw, super transparent, super just open. And sometimes that has worked against me, but when I really zoom out, it really hasn't worked against me. It's all a part of how I've gotten here. Yeah. And I just hope that the work that I do does impact someone, whether it's through the storytelling, whether it's my character behind the scenes, whether it's my work ethic, whether it's how I show up for you as a friend. Like, I just want it to be impactful and then definitely transformative because I feel like we're always evolving. And there was an unevolved version of myself and then an evolved version of myself. And I'll never be at the end. But I've seen, sometimes I just look back at like old pictures or old versions of myself and I'm like, girl, can I curse on here? What the heck are you doing? And then I look but it was like a sense of freedom that I had at that time that I feel like has kind of mellowed out now. And I'm trying to find confidence in a less ignorantly bliss way. Like I feel like I was confident back then because I just didn't know anything. And now that I know so much or much more, I feel like it kind of hinders me in like when it comes to like certain insecurities and stuff like that. If that makes sense. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I feel like I'm looking in a mirror because I was the same way. I mean, a little older or a little longer on my journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I talk about that all the time. Just not knowing what you don't know.
Yeah.
But you gotta but then I have these weird, like out of body moments where I think the future Thiele talked to the past. Somebody talked to her.
Somebody said
Somebody visited her and said something because I don't know how she even survived. I'm like, when I look back, I'm like, somebody stopped by and said something from the future and said, you're going to make it. So and then I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what really fascinates me about the work that you do is the way you build up the Black culture.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you know the Black culture.
Yes.
Again, shout out to Ava Hall and just the people that you are around. Mm-hmm. It's all about the culture. So can you talk more about, like, what's the culture to you, though? What's that?
Yeah, I feel like the culture is everything, but it's something that's always shifting, changing. I'm always learning something new. A lot of people, I don't know if people know that my mom is fully German, a white German woman, and my dad is fully Black from Southeast DC. That's straight.
Got the fully white German, fully white.
So I have
American.
like a two-sided thing, and I understand my privilege because of the skin color of my mom, and I also understand the culture because of my dad. And I honestly relate more to Black culture just because I've never been to Germany. I haven't really tapped in like I should with that. But because I do have so much access, because the Black community does accept me and sees my value and what I can and what I can do for them, it really makes me feel like I have a family away from family. So it's something that I've always enjoyed. And the main thing about culture, or just the people I love who are mostly Black men and Black women, is I want people to see them how I see them. And so the whole point of the Accolade Spotlight thing, or any story I'm telling, whether I'm writing a song for an artist or whatever, is I want people to hear you or see you like I see you, because I don't know if you can see that sometimes. Sometimes you're so in your own way that you can't see it. And a little trick I do is sometimes I'll start rolling cameras. They won't know, and I'm just shooting the shit with them or shooting the talk with them, and they'll be like, "Are we rolling?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we've been rolling. We don't have to use any of this, but you're comfortable now." And I like to show people in their comfortable state, like that raw thing that I was telling you about earlier. And I'm not perfect at it, and I'm still working at it, but I don't know. I just want to show the culture how I see it ultimately. Yeah.
Awesome. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like saying, well, how do you see me?
I see you as a beautiful Black queen. You're a Delta?
Delta.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because I did shoot an event that you was doing.
You were at our new initiate NIP. I forget what am I.
It was like an initiation.
Yeah, it's called the. It's our coming out.
Yeah, and it was so dope to see you in that light, because I see you at work in HR, and you're always yourself. But it was just like to see you just being with your people, being with your sisters, and I don't know, you remind me of like myself in the future or something like.
I'm your future self.
Yeah, I can see it. I'm like, if I end up anything like Delay, I'm gonna be lit. I'm gonna be that.
You're gonna be more lit,
girl. You know what I mean?
Doing podcasts, travel. I mean, my goodness.
But you were always so welcoming. Like, you were always so nice. You ain't know me from a bag of chips, and I don't know.
I just knew you had some chips, and I was like, she got some chips. Man, you gotta get the snacks all the time.
Yeah.
We gotta get
this woman is the funniest person. You talking about
you?
I make you happy. You make me happy. Like, what? Like, you're legitimately funny. I don't know if you know how funny you are.
Okay,
like,
thank you.
Hilarious.
Let's bring that out more.
Please.
Sometimes I feel so serious, and I feel like, and I'm glad you said that, because it's not just me, but I feel like as a Black woman, sometimes we just can't, let our hair down.
That's so
we
true.
can't. It's like, I gotta be on edge all the time.
Yeah.
Like, why? I'm really a funny, fun person.
You ain't never lied.
And I don't have an attitude. But I write about that in my book because people think I'm angry. I used to get that all the time.
I never get that. Maybe it was the old version of you.
It's people who are insecure and intimidated by me, right?
But if you lack emotional intelligence and you think and you see life through the lens of your trauma, then you're always going to project onto other people. And it's just like
deep.
me try and get
Wow.
into the word a little bit.
You doing it. You ain't trying.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, I appreciate that. And thank you for the compliments.
Of
And
course.
yes, your
Yeah.
future self and my present self
Uh-huh.
is telling you that you're amazing.
Thank you.
Okay. So, in the media landscape that overlooks the authentic Black woman,
Uh-huh.
how do you stay rooted? How do you stay rooted and resist compromise? Because it's so easy to compromise.
Ooh.
How do you not compromise
I don't even know how deep I want to go on that
Oh,
one.
go deep, please. I need more subscribers. I'm just kidding.
How do you not compromise your
Go deep.
authenticity is the question.
Yeah, how do you just not compromise? Because please, all throughout my career,
Yeah.
people are constantly testing me, trying to see if I'm a married woman, so they're trying to see if
Yeah.
I'll flirt,
Uh-huh.
trying to say little
Yeah.
things.
Uh-huh.
I don't drink, so they're like, "You sure you don't drink? You have a little drink. Come on, you just." No.
Yeah.
I don't even really curse because that's something I just put behind me almost 27 years ago.
That's good. I'm trying to get there.
But it took a lot of work. So for me to curse is a compromise because so don't try to make me curse. Don't try so people try to like push my buttons to see if they could make me lose my cool. But it's not really that. It's just not me losing my cool. It's just I've worked on all these things for a long time. So my bad. Enough about me.
No, I love
What
that.
does compromise look like for you?
I mean, the first person that compromised myself was myself. You know what I mean? I had to build up trusting myself.
Yes.
Like it's like I think the root of what I try to ground myself with is always searching for the truth. And if I'm not in a state of truth, then it's something going on. And I've done it in very unhealthy ways, starting whether I try certain like psychedelics. I want to find the truth there. Everything but God. Everything universe, spirit, source, everything but that. And then it brought me to God. And then I was like, wait a minute. This is the truth. You got crystals and sage and all these things thinking you doing something, and all you needed was the Bible. All you needed was the word. So literally the thing that keeps me centered is God, even when I'm not even conscious or feel like I'm far away. Like it's some way, somehow he just always gives me grace, mercy, favor. I don't know, like, and I feel like my eyes, like the scales or the ringing of my heart, all those things are like revealing so much to me that it's kind of like, I don't even know. I'm still figuring it out. I can't even, but I'm in the process. I'm in a pruning process where I feel like he's breaking everything that I find identity in that is outside of him and filling it back up with himself.
Wow.
But that takes a lot of work and a lot of love and a lot of grace for your own self, because I'm the type of person, I'll beat myself up so that if anybody else does it, it doesn't really feel that bad. And I would try to numb myself through all different ways until I just found out it was just like a temporary fix that just actually took you further away from your authentic self. So yeah, and that's what the devil tried to do. He tried to trick you out your identity. Like it sound good, look good, sound like the truth, but then there's this warp to it. And then when you find the truth, you're like, oh my God, like, and this whole time you realize it's God that's keeping you grounded, centered, and authentic, who won't let me compromise my morals. As many times as I wanted to, as many times as an opportunity came up and I was like, well, it's just like, nah. Because every time you do, it always messes up. Every time. You just learn your lessons through life. Like, it just takes time. Yeah. And
when
that's the
smart,
gift of time.
You learn your lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're smart.
And you can see, that's wisdom right there, what you shared, because you can recognize what it is.
Yeah.
Some people, and this hopefully is helping someone else. They're like, oh, now I see why things keep falling, apart, or why things, all these big breaks I have are falling through.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for the journey that when things don't work out and things fall apart, quote unquote, it's like something's better is coming. Obviously,
Absolutely.
clearly something better is
All the time.
Yes.
And you just got to be delulu and believe
Yeah,
that.
I'm delulu. I am straight. I need to get this. Don't know. I shouldn't tell people I should get a shirt say delulu.
No, you should. Why not?
Delulu.
Yeah.
That's
Make
true.
it something like merch with the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a merch. Delulu. We are
Yeah.
delulu on Ask Mrs. HR.
On purpose.
But one thing about the podcast, I'm seeing a theme. Like most of the people that's been on the podcast, they have strong spiritual beliefs
I love that.
and they're delulu.
I mean, listen, you are what you attract. If you look around and everybody's like a reflection of you at the end of the day. So you're going to
And
find
they're doctors.
spiritual delulus.
I have doctors.
And successful spiritual delulus.
Entrepreneurs who are delusional.
Any entrepreneur has to be some level of delusional.
Agreed.
Because you have to ignore all of the circumstances around you and just lock in to what you're doing.
Exactly. Yes. And I love it though. I've embraced it. I love it.
Yeah.
So enough about me, enough about that. I want to hear about your projects.
Okay.
What are you working on right now? Tell me every single one.
Okay. So, first things first, I did mention this, Accolade Spotlights.
Okay.
We've shot literally 2 seasons worth of episodes with different creatives, songwriter named Coco Sarai, a DJ named Brian Henry, an actor named Anton Peoples, all types of people that I really have built a relationship with, whether it's professionally and even personally. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm just like in the editing phase because I like to do like batch editing so I can just kind of drop or schedule the drops out and I don't have to think about it again. And then next is marketing the studio a little bit more and getting it onto Peerspace because right now all of our business comes through word of mouth. So just scaling that business, learning what that looks like, if I should go get a loan, if I should get a better place, like just building my commercial what's the
Offering.
word? Yeah, you can say that. Yeah. And
Scalability.
I'm also working on a music project called Everything is a Lie. Because everything is a lie. And that's what I found. Everything is a lie. Everything is a freaking lie.
Thing?
Yeah. And I'm really excited about that because I feel like this is some of the best music I've ever made. And I'm currently in a competition with Timbaland right now. And I'm in the semifinals. Y'all got to vote. It doesn't end until May 25th. I don't know when this comes out. It really doesn't end until June 30th.
Okay.
But
make it to June 30th.
People can vote up until then. And then it's him as a judge and like other industry professionals.
Oh, by the way, I'm in a competition.
Yeah, I like the last single I dropped called Beeper in January. I submitted that song. So I just kind of been doing like some market research because I stopped doing music when I got out here because I was like, what? I have to like plant my feet on the ground first.
Okay, before you go too far, how do we vote for you?
Okay, so it's on timboido.com. If you search that and then you just search Kora with a K, the artist, spelled correctly, you'll see you can have a free vote or you can pay for votes. You don't have to pay for the vote, but you can just do one free vote per round. If I make it past this round, I'm in the top 40. And then if the judges like me, I'll be in the top 5. And there's cash prizes, one-on-one sessions with Timbaland. And either one of those would be great because I really want to just, I feel like I have developed as an artist. And I think all I'm missing is like a core fan base and exposure and a little bit of funding to help me along the way because this is expensive. And this is why I'm doing all these different businesses and have a part-time job at Africa Channel because it's a lot. It's not just my bills. It's like you really have to pay to play in this type of industry. So
I seem like the people with money don't have any talent.
And you know what?
I'm sorry.
That's really true.
Maybe that's just me being bitter.
That's really true. That's really true. But it's not even about talent because if you work harder than this is the thing about talented people. They feel like because they're so talented, they don't have to work hard. That people are just going to like them just because. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So you either have to have some money behind you or you have to work. You have to love what you do. You know, it's so cliche. They be like, you got to love what you do if you want to do it. No, but for real, because when it's not loving you back and it's not paying your bills and it's giving you trauma, do you really love it? Or is it just something that you are trying to seek attention and fame for? Because fame does not equal success. It does not equal money. And if you're famous already and you're already making all these mistakes that you cannot go back on. It's just a whole process. So I just really feel like people need to like take their time, start to love the process because every day can change and it only takes one thing to hit to change your life. And then it can go really fast.
Yeah.
And you just got to kind of be self-aware in that way. If you're not self-aware, you're going to lose yourself.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could probably end the podcast on that. That was some great advice. So are those, I mean, that's a lot. And
It's a lot.
Congratulations on being
Thank
a part of this.
you.
What's the Timberland project called?
I don't even know the name of the competition. I just think it's called Timbo Idol or Timbo IDO.
Timbo IDO.
Yeah.
And all the different productions you're working on.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Africa Channel, the 20-year anniversary. I think you're working on that too.
Yes, we are. 20-year anniversary Africa Channel.
Hey, we love the Africa Channel.
We sure enough do.
We love them.
We love y'all.
We love y'all. I'm the head of HR and community engagement.
Yes.
So hit us up if you want to, talk about the Africa Channel.
Yeah, definitely hit us up.
I know. It's really a privilege has been for me personally to be able to, keep that channel going.
Yeah, I just cannot talk about God. Like, he's been so, I don't know. He been doing something to me lately. Like, all of the issues that I deal with, it just makes me realize I can't do it without him. Like, I literally cannot.
There's this song, Maverick City, not by power, not by power. Hey, not by power. Holy Spirit, not by power. And it's just saying, not by power, but by the Spirit of the living God.
Yes.
But not
the living
by
God,
my might,
that part.
not by my power, but by the Spirit of the living God.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite songs because a lot of times when we get frustrated, we get worn out. And I'm talking about myself.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me. It's because I'm trying to do it by my own might. Like, if I stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning, then I'll get it all done. And I've learned 9 o'clock, that's a wrap. I'm going to bed.
Yep.
I've been up since 5 o'clock. I've been working. I've been doing whatever I've been doing.
Yep.
It's time for me to rest and relax. And I just got to that point.
And there's a difference between resting and sleeping.
Yeah, because there were times I hadn't been sleeping at all. Because I'm like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, let me write that down.
Yeah.
Or, and then let me hurry up and get up so I can do it.
There is a toxicity to like the hustle culture.
Oh, I hate the hustle culture.
Yeah.
But it's hard to find balance because sometimes you got to get your butt up and hustle. Like, you better move. So I want to say,
sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You got to move.
Yeah.
You can't be dragging. So I instead of hustle culture, I would say I prefer walking with purpose culture.
Yes.
Like
intent.
moving with intent and moving like you know where you're going.
Yep.
Walking with some purpose.
Yeah. And understanding that faith without works is dead. You can believe all you want, but if you don't work. But if you working with no faith, it's kind of like you're not leaving room for God to do anything. Exactly. So is this for him or is this for your ego?
But hustle, given, I used to have employees come into my office literally crying tears because they're exhausted, they're tired.
Burnt out.
I'm giving 120%. I said, well, stop. Nobody asked you for 120%.
Yeah.
And then another thing I talk about in my book again, the diversity dilemma, get it on Audible also. It's really just this whole like executive presence and professionalism and Black and brown people feeling like I got to be 10 times more. That's a lie. That was once true, I guess.
Yeah, it was.
But we need to X that out. We need to stop thinking the only way we're going to be successful is to be 10 times more than somebody.
That's been promoted to us like all our lives.
You got to be 10 times better.
But yet our counterpart can be.
I'm doing an experiment and y'all could come in my chat or call me. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge people, be mediocre for about 90 days. I bet you get promoted.
I need to try that. And that's crazy because when you stop trying or when you stop fixating on something so much, that's when everything starts falling into place. And you be like, what?
Exactly.
What? That's crazy. Why is that? She knows something, y'all.
I'm telling you. Because when I'm in that place of what I consider to be mediocre, because first of all, it's really difficult to be mediocre when you're talented, when you're smart. You're always going to be excellent. You're being excellent for God. So,
Oh my God, I love you so much.
right? I mean, how you going to be, what was this mediocre? I mean, I guess mediocre could look like coming in late.
She said she not built like that.
I mean, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to be excellent. Because
I
I'm
know
just
that's
like,
right.
hey, I'm excellent.
It's just a part of who you are.
If I'm going to spend I could spend 4 hours doing what some people take 3 days to do.
I know that's right.
And I think most of us can. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, why are you doing 30 times more in a day?
Yeah.
Spread it out.
That
Spread it
part.
out. And then you're wondering why nobody's paying attention. First of all, okay, I'm going to go on my soapbox for 1 minute.
No, go for it.
As an HR person, what I've seen, you're not rewarded for being better than everybody else in the organization. They usually have animosity towards you.
Yes.
They usually
if you do too
don't
much.
want to support you. They usually don't want to, raise you up because they're like, who do you think you are? You're just a know-it-all.
Yeah.
So there's a level of bitterness towards you. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, in corporate. I'm talking about my corporate.
Yeah, in corporate, you do not want, and even in the creative, like, depending on where, you got to read the room.
Yes, you got to read them.
I was like, you either need to do just enough, and because if you show all of your cards, they will use that, and they won't pay you more.
I need you to repeat that.
You spend all your time trying to prove yourself to these people, and you show all your cards, and they're going to be like, great, you want to do this for no extra money? I'll do that. And then you find yourself burning out for something that you should be paid for. Now you're doing this row, this row, this row, this row, and you did. And now what? So that's the only thing about corporate, that it's like corporate is a means to an end, unless your means to an end is to run that corporation.
It's not even really, I agree with you 1,000%. But it's also with entrepreneurship, which we started talking about. Like, you talk about how do you make money in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I learned early on when I first started doing my business where I failed, which is fine because failing is good.
Yep.
I didn't have a strong scope of work of what I actually was going to do. I was giving it all away, like you just described.
Yeah.
And you giving it all away. Oh, well, I'll do that for $1,500. Giving it all away.
Yep.
How are you going to sustain that? Nope. No, you need to say this part of my business is $1,500.
Yeah.
And then you can buy some more for $1,500.
Exactly.
Right? But a lot of times, like you said, you show all your cards, you give it all away, and then you're sitting there hoping that somebody's just going to pay you extra because they feel sorry for you. I don't know.
99% of the time, that's never the case. There are some people that will see you and be like, here.
And that's a big problem I talk about too in any job. Is a lot of employees are waiting to be tapped on the shoulder for an opportunity.
Right. No one's going to give you anything.
No. And so it's the same with entrepreneurship, which is working in a corporation, intrapreneur, I-N-T-R-A, and entrepreneur. Like, you have to have a strong vision for yourself, know your value and your worth, and then ask for it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask for it. I found like always lowballing my pricing and stuff like that because I thought maybe my skill sets didn't match this, or maybe like people went to school and I didn't go to school for this. But it's like, no, when you actually are doing the work and you have a success rate of clients that you have like a retention in your clients, then it's just like, nah, at some point, like, you got to pay me my value. And then those prices get rid of the flim-flam or the people who don't value you in the first place. So now you're only going to be working. But on the other side of that, there is the pressure of like, oh my God, I just got a $50,000 job. Can I even? Can I?
That's that imposter syndrome because you can. You can because you've already done it. You just did it cheap. You just did it for free.
Exactly. And usually the folks that pay more are usually the ones who don't have a lot of edits, notes, and complaints. It's the ones who paid 99 cents. Saying, can I get this done, this done, this? No, friend, you did not pay me that much. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do but so much. Like, what do you want from me?
Yes. So hear us loud and clear. Make sure you know what you're worth and you're getting paid for what you're worth. So when we started this episode, it's like, as a creative, how do I make money?
Yeah.
Well, you have to put value towards what you're doing, and then I think the other side of it, the spiritual side, it will come to you.
Yeah.
But you have to be clear of what your prices are.
Yeah.
And don't,
Yeah, know what's for you is never going to pass you.
Yeah, there you go.
Never.
All right. Wow. So Talking about all of the work that we do together, you told me recently you had an experience with Shirley Ralph.
Yes,
And I
Cheryl
just
Lee
wanted to hear
Ralph.
this story.
So,
You were telling me.
I represented the Africa channel on the NAACP Image Awards red carpet that passed a couple of months ago.
Oh, nice.
And it was just me. I was interviewing and shooting because I was just like, I wanted to take us back into that realm.
Yeah.
And you know, it was kind of hard getting certain people because I wasn't a bigger
Right.
network that was a little bit more popular.
Mm-hmm.
But when Cheryl Lee Ralph saw the Africa Channel logo on my mic, she lit up, like literally lit up and ran. Oh, everyone's like, Cheryl. She was like, the Africa Channel, that's where I started. And oh my God, I love you guys. I'm so glad you guys are so around. I want to do an interview with you right now.
That's awesome.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I've only been there for like less than 2 years, so I don't even know. But then Karen, who we work with as well, showed me some tapes of like an old award show that Africa Channel produced that she was a part of. And I just love me some Cheryl Lee Ralph. So I was trying not to fan out.
That's my soror.
Oh my gosh, she's a Delta?
Yes.
Ah, okay,
her star
that's so
Hollywood.
cool.
Yes, that's my soror.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to tell that story
Thank
because I
you.
just
That's
felt
a
like
great
she really
story.
loves y'all. Like, and people,
That's the post.
even what's her name? Jesus, Jamie Lynn.
Oh, I don't know.
Jamie
I'm gonna have to edit
She
that.
plays in Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin.
It's a thin line
You know what I'm talking about?
between love and hate. Yes, I do.
But it's Jamie. I thought it was Jamie
Not
Lynn.
Jamie
It's not
Lynn.
Jamie Lynn.
Okay, this
All right,
is
we'll
where
cut
we
that
be.
part.
Yeah, this is where we be messing up.
But it's okay.
Just
She
like that
also did
song
the
you
same
was singing.
thing.
What was you singing instead of my mic sound?
Mic, check one. I just repeated mic. How many times do you do that?
Mic, check.
I make
one.
my own words all the time.
Mic, check one. No, that's not it. my mic sounds nice. Check
Oh my
one.
God.
My
That
mic
makes so much more
sounds nice,
sense.
check
It makes so
two.
much more sense.
Okay, well that's why
It's
you have
idiotic.
your aunties like me. Please keep you together.
Give me right. Give me right.
Well, I just love you.
Yeah, I love you more.
No.
No, I love you more.
Okay, I win. Okay, so how do we find you? Like, I want to hire you today and pay you $50,000.
Will you? I'm glad you asked.
Yes.
So, so you can definitely find me on all social networks, Kora the Artist, or under Knox Media,
With a
or
K.
Accolades LA, all with K, except for
Okay.
Accolades LA.
Okay.
If you are interested in booking studio time, you can go on our website, accoladesla.com. Or you could just send me an email. My booking email for videography is Knox Media. And my booking email for any artist stuff is koratheartist@gmail.
I'm just so proud of you. I can't wait to see I just can't wait to see you tomorrow, much less the future you, because you're just like,
Yeah.
you are
We're
just.
going to be friends forever. You can't get rid of me now.
That's that single German and black female.
Yes. Yeah.
Not single white.
Hi,
single
Mama.
German.
I'm on TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I really appreciate you, and I enjoyed this time.
Me too.
And now it's time for me to look at the camera and say, look, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Ask Mrs. HR. We have over 25,000 views, but for some reason, y'all not hitting that subscribe button. So hit the subscribe button, like, and you know what? If you're interested in being on the podcast and you happen to be in LA, please reach out to me. I'm at delay@delaythatch.com, or just put it in the chat. And I look forward to seeing you again on another episode of Ask Mrs. HR podcast. Thank you. Bye. My mic sound nice. Check.
Wow.
My mic sound nice.
Check.
Check.